Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I hope that we all support justice, right? The quest for justice, especially the United States of America, which likes to spread justice and wants to have a just world with, ruled by the rule of law and a rule-based world order, we're told, okay? So this piece of news that I have here, coming from Associated Press, should not upset anyone. Why? Because the coup leaders in Niger want to prosecute the former president, and they want to charge him, or at least the accusations are of high treason. Who would be against that? Well, I can only guess. And probably you can guess that as well. Why? Because some people say, well, I'm a just person, but I would like to be the person distributing justice, only I, and I will take care of that justice right now for you. So let's read this little article coming from Associated Press. Niger's coup leaders say they will prosecute deposed President Mohamed Bazoum for high treason. Do you think, I didn't read the article, but do you think that we will have everybody saying, I'm talking about the certain Western countries saying, yeah, that's great, well, justice for all. Yes. Or they will say, no, time out. No, we do it. Or, no, you can't do that. You don't have the authority. We have it. Can you guess what countries will come and yell the loudest? I have three. One is France. The other one is the United States of America. And probably the other one, the third one, like always, Great Britain. Why always? If you look in history, you will realize that Great Britain most of the time showed up late, but took over. Look in, for instance, in other countries. It came late, but then it pushed everybody and took over. I guess good for them. What can I say? So they're always somewhere, even though their empire collapsed by their own doing. They won the war, okay, and after the war they were bankrupt and they lost all their colonies. Good job. But hey, freedom and democracy. Let's go here and see what these guys are saying. Look at this handsome lad here. I don't understand these guys, and I'll be straight with you right here. This guy, I don't think he's like 45 or something. He might be 60-some. Looking at his hair, which is also his right to dye his hair, why would you do this? I mean, I know I'm younger than this guy. And now it's also genetic. I know I have white stuff and so on. So, what's with these guys dyeing their hair? You know they're 90 and they come with, like it was Berlusconi. Remember Berlusconi? I mean, you look like shit, just so you know. We all know there's a little problem. But anyway, that should tell you probably the confidence, the self-confidence some individuals have when they need to be more than they are and try to do this, certain kind of everywhere. You know, you're not happy with yourself. Something tells me that you're not enough for yourself. That means psychologically that you always need something to make you something that you're not. You're a fake. And you tell us that. Well, at least that's indirectly, because you don't say, hey, I'm a fake. Everything you see here is not what you get. So let's go back to this. I mean, that's his right. He can do whatever he wants. I'm just pointing out. For me, it's just, no. But anyway, let's see. Niger's mutitious soldiers. Now, it's very important. This Associated Press, I just checked. It's a news agency. So this is not an opinion. This is not an opinion piece. This is an article that informs us about some events, which should be objective. But we'll see by their semantics over there, the words they choose and the way they put them in a sentence, that actually you know on which side they are. Is that how a news agency functions? Should function? I guess not. Well, let's go and see. Niger's mutitious soldiers said they will prosecute deposed President Mohamed Bazoum for high treason and undermining state security in an announcement hours after the junta said they were open to dialogue with West African nations to resolve the mounting regional crisis. Well, first, this should not be a regional crisis, but if they want to insert themselves into being a regional crisis, you can make it. Like, for instance, why not is a global crisis? Why is it just a regional? Why is it a regional in the first place? It's like, for instance, I have a problem with, I say, so you have a problem with your wife in your house, and it's a family thing. Why is that a community thing? And if it's a community thing, then it's a country thing, it's national, it's a global. You can make it however you want. Depends on who you want to put in. Like being your arbiters, your judges. No, you stay out of it. Stay out of it. No, it's a regional problem. But if something happens in, I don't know, United States, it's just United States problem. It's not a global thing. But they make it however they want. That's how I take it. But wrong or right, it's not a regional problem. They make it a regional problem. What do you mean, Emil? They took over is that in the region or is that in a country? Oh, that affects. Well, if you go by that, a lot of things affect. We have Biden as a president, and he affects the whole globe. Is he a regional problem? Given that he is a problem, first, but he's not a problem. You know what I mean? Well, he's a problem. Is he a global problem? I think he is. But no, he's not a problem at all. These guys that are telling us when you clearly see the guy is not there. I mean, the lights are on, but there's nobody home. And his lights are on about 15 minutes a day, that's all. So let's read here. If found guilty, Bazoum could face the death penalty according to Niger penal code. Well, anyway, why do you think they would say that? Just to inform us because you're dumbasses? Yeah, okay. We're not like that. Was it the library? Anyway, spokesman Colonel Major Amadou Abramen said on state television Sunday night that the military regime had, and I'm quoting, gathered the necessary evidence to prosecute before competent national and international authorities the ousted president and his local and foreign accomplices for high treason and for undermining the internal and external security of Niger. Well, they're going to mention countries and leaders. That's a big problem. The announcement said high-ranking West African politicians and, quote-unquote, their international mentors have made false allegations and attempted to derail a peace solution to the crisis in order to justify a military intervention. It said Bazoum was being charged following his exchanges with these people. The statement did not identify specific Western countries and did not specify a date for the trial. Why do you assume it's Western countries? You already know that. Why do they assume? Why do they say the statement did not identify any specific country? Why not? Why Western countries? Because there's no smoke without a fire. Bazoum, Niger democratically elected president. Hey, we like that now, huh? Don't we? We like that. How about the Viktor Yanukovych 2014 location, Ukraine? Remember that guy? Democratically elected guy. He was overthrown with the help of some countries or some entities, let's put it this way, okay? And they recognized the guys, high treasonous guys, they recognized as those entities all of a sudden. Wasn't he democratically elected? You see, I don't like this double standard. I don't have to go back into 2014 to figure out what Associated Press said about that coup in Ukraine. I can feel in my balls that these guys said not like that. They were like, yeah, well, it's a revolution if the Ukrainians people want it. Nobody should say anything, including the Russians. I'm almost certain they did that because, you read this Associated Press often enough, then you understand which directions they go. So this guy, the democratic elected president, which is true, was ousted and through the most honest and fair elections. Correct? Correct. Unlike Putin, who is a thug who just skewed all his elections. He wasn't democratically, but you know how Russia is. But this guy, no, this guy is the pinnacle of truth and democracy. Was ousted by members, and I'm saying this just to point out how these guys are reporting stuff, not by Associated Press here, but I am not going to point out now every time these guys are referring to Putin as a dictator and a strong man and all that. You know, let's see what these guys are saying. Was ousted by members of his presidential guard on July 26th and has since been under house arrest with his wife and son in the presidential compound in the capital, Niamey. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. If not, that's my pronunciation. And I have the right to do it. I take my right. People close to the president as well as those in his ruling party say the family's electricity and water. Okay, now he's mulling empathy from me, so I'm moving down here. International pressure, we know who's the international pressure, is growing on the junta to release and reinstate Bazoum. Immediately after the coup, the West African regional bloc gave the regime 7 days ultimatum to return him to power and threatened military force if it did not happen. Oh my God, look how united these guys are. All of a sudden. But that deadline came and went with no action from either side. And last week, these guys, ECOWAS, ordered the deployment of a standby force, but it's still unclear when or if it would enter the country. When or if they would enter the country. Why would they? That's an intervention on another country's internal affairs. I thought it was illegal. America used to come and bomb these guys for that reason, because they destabilize the region. Now, just to be straight, I personally, I don't care what's going on in that house. It's their house. From outside, which we know very little, you have his personal guard arresting him, and we're told that this guy is the pinnacle of democracy. I don't know the guy. I'm not, deep into African politics, but I don't know. I don't believe in, I don't think this way. All good, all bad. All good, all evil. I don't have this. Mostly good, mostly bad. But these guys are portraying me, this guy, and I'm supposed to believe it, that in Niger is the perfect democracy and the perfect person over there. And the country has uranium? Is that what it has? And that's no interest whatsoever. The United States has more than 4 military bases in that country. France has military base in the country. And somehow I'm supposed to believe that the country is independent and the freedom and democracy flourish like nowhere else. I don't. And not because of the country, but of the people in general. But then, the way I see these guys react, the forces of good, on this coup, but they didn't react the same way in another coup in Ukraine. Makes me wonder, I know the answer. I know the answer. I am convinced of what happened in both sides. And how, by the reaction of these guys. Here, their boys. Here, not their boys. Must be, their boy has to be put in place. Here, their boys are in place. If you have values, if you have principles, if you respect yourself, then you don't have situational values or situational principles. Because that's why it's a principle. It's universal. Not because, some of your relatives commits a crime, you don't call it a crime because it's one of your relatives. But you're against criminality. And you say, that's one of my values, justice. No, it's not. It's not. Proven by the fact that being your relative involved in this kind of thing, you do not call it the way it is. But if someone else that you don't know, you're very loud about condemning that. And say, hey, I promote justice. That's what's going on here in Niger. When you hear all this compassion, and put aside, and you because that's for weasels. They don't talk to this, they talk to this, and that's the easiest way. Now the easiest way. All of a sudden, everybody's concerned with Niger. Why? I never heard of Niger before. Finding out that Niger has a big, how should I put it, a big stock of resources needed for France, and not only for the nuclear power grid. And all of a sudden, it's so important. It's their internal stuff. I don't know who's good and who's bad, but the problem is you can learn out of it. You can learn when you see these kind of things. That's why when I see Biden over there being in charge of the biggest democracy, but not biggest, supposedly India is the greatest democracy in this world because of the population. When you see what's going on over there with Biden and with his secret services, just switch a little bit some names and if some terms. From security services, put them bodyguards or whatever these guys were, mercenaries. Those guys around Biden, they're not his guys. They're someone else's guys. If those someone else want something from Biden, they will get it. Biden is like a sitting duck. Everything is based on convention, on people following the rules. But you can't just say we follow the rules here, but we don't follow the rules there. And I'm talking about Ukraine. Or we should follow the rules here with the democratically elected guy. Well, let's say what they find out, but you don't want to find out. Why? The same with Ceausescu, the Romanian dictator, president. When he was shot like a dog at the orders of... what happened? They wanted to close his mouth, shut him up. They killed him. Oh, it was the danger. He's a criminal. He killed people. Romania. Okay, he was not all good. He was not all bad. But nevertheless, he didn't deserve to die like that. That's for sure. He didn't deserve to die. That's my assessment from the very beginning. And that little courtroom, that was court procedure, it was a farce. It's a shame. A shame. And why? To shut him up. He might have said certain things and say, yeah, dismiss him. Yeah. When he said that foreign agencies are at work here, yes, they were. I got books on that. It's known, but hey, it was a revolution, spontaneous. Romanians were upset. Yes, they were upset. Was spontaneous? No, it was not spontaneous. Maybe it was here spontaneous and then evolved and it was used by outside forces. Certain cells were activated and was directed towards Romania being disintegrated, but somehow it just stuck together. And so on. So anyway, with these guys, I don't know what happened, but I would like to know what happened. But I'm almost certain that the certain countries will not want us to find out what happened. And those countries are at least the three that I mentioned. Let me go and see if anything else is in this article. I looked down on this article and the only foreign countries besides Nigeria was United States of America. That was all that's mentioned. And I wonder why. Is Niger next to the United States of America, but there are interests. And if you look around and look in our beautiful history, as long as you cooperate with certain guys, you're good to go. If you don't cooperate and you can be the most democratic president, but you don't, they will get you. They will get you. So just the fact that Niger had this French military bases, and I don't know if it's more than one, but I know the Americans have 4, about 1,100 troops over there. It tells me that this guy could have been the whomever he wanted to be. The Americans says, "Are you giving us that? Yeah, okay. If you give us that, you can stay over there." That's how the deals are made. I mean, we have all kind of partners, and we had all kind. United States, not we. They had all kind of partners in this on this planet that were thugs. Cooperated, you're good to stay. Not cooperated, you're gonna have a little spontaneous thing on your country, or maybe I don't know, some Allende, Chile. Remember that one? Or you can have a 1952 Iran. Remember that? What's his name? Mossadegh, Prime Minister. Remember that one? Who intervened over there again? Why? Oil. If you don't have oil, if you don't have resources, they don't care about you. If you're not strategically positioned somewhere where they have an interest, they will not even know you exist. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.